Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Excel. What we're going to cover in this session is how to link sheets together, how to link workbooks together, how to create a template, and how to add password protection to that template. But first of all, a quick overview of linking sheets. So in this file, as you can see down the bottom there, I've got three sheets: January, February and March, and the quarterly total sheet. So the way this is set up, on the quarterly total sheet, you can see there's a formula that is adding up January to March using cell B5, and the next one is B6. So how this works is you fill in the data in January, you get into February, you're halfway through February, and then you start inputting the data for February. So let's say we have a bad month. So overall, you're minus 43 in February, but the running total is still showing you in profit because you had a good month in January. Now, if I go back to February and have another bad week, that's a really bad week. Now, when I go back to the quarterly total, you can see that now you've gone into the red as a total figure. So in this particular example, this is how I did it, but I'll just delete this off and show you, and then we'll do it from scratch. So because each sheet is exactly the same in terms of layout, i.e. cell B5 is always sales and marketing week 1 income, just go and I'll show you that, same, January, same. I'm going to call that consistency of layout, and it's quite crucial in Excel when you're at this level. If you get this right, everything's fairly simple because we can now use the auto sum to add this up. So over to the right there, click on auto sum. It doesn't pick anything up because there's no figures to the left or above, but that doesn't matter. You go down to January, you click on the cell B5, you check that it says sum Jan B5. The exclamation mark just means sheet. Now you hold your shift key down and you don't need to click on February, you just need to click on March. So if this was a whole 12 months, you'd start on January and you'd click on December. If you didn't want a consistent list, you could use your control key and then you'd have to click on individual sheets. But I'm just going to click on March. The formula recognizes that Jan : March, that means including February, using B5. I click the tick and it adds it up. Now the good news is I don't have to do that again. I can just pull that across to week 5, let go, pull it down, and everything's sorted out. And I can only do that because the layout is consistent. It's the same information. If the layout wasn't consistent, you would have to do stuff like this: equals, go down to January, click on that, do a plus, click on February because it's not in the same cell, do another plus, click on March, do another plus, and then you tick that. Now I wouldn't be able to pull that down or across because there's no consistency in that, so I'd have to manually do that again and then again and again and again, and this is where you start making mistakes. So it's always wise, in my view, to try and get or achieve consistency of layout, because then that becomes an easy process. Now what I'm going to do is create a new sheet, a new file even, so I'll just do Control N, and we're going to recreate something similar to that, just with 4 sheets. So I'm just going to click on this plus down the bottom here 3 times, double click on sheet 1 to name that Jan, capital J, sheet 2 Feb, sheet 3 March or Mar, and then sheet 4 total. Now there's a really cool feature in Excel where you can group sheets together, and whatever you type on the first sheet cascades through all the others at the same time, so it stops you needing to do copy and paste. So that's what I want to show you now. Now the sheets that I want to group are all 4 of these, so I'm going to start on January, hold my shift key down and click on the total tab. You can see these have all changed white, but depending what version of Excel you have got and the color scheme you've got, that might not be as obvious as that. But what it should say at the top of the screen, if I move that out of the way, is group, the word group next to the file name. So mine does say that. Now what you have to avoid is clicking on these tabs now to have a look to see if this is working, because by doing that you will ungroup the sheets, and then obviously from that point onwards it won't be working. So let's just quickly type our little spreadsheet out. So you need to plan this a little bit before you start. So let's just type this. So I want income expense over here. Income, expense and balance. And then I'll do a bit of formatting. Now, if you're doing this with me, you can obviously pause the video if I'm going too fast for you, but I like to colour things in to make it obvious where the data is going to go and where the formulas are going to go outside of that. And I mentioned earlier that we're going to do password protection. So the areas where people will be allowed to type without knowing the password will be these yellow areas. Now the formula that I need to put into this cell is this one, equals whatever goes in B3 minus whatever goes in B4. Check the formula, click the tick, pull that across to week 5, and then I need the sum of this. So that's just an auto sum. It won't pick anything up because there's no figures. Just highlight the row, check it says B3 to F3, click the tick, and then just pull that one down. Now all of this needs to be in pounds, so I'm just going to highlight all of this, select the pile of coins to format it into pounds or dollars, whichever one you want, and then just a quick check that that works. 10, 5, yes it does, and I can delete that for now. And then the title for this is going to be Sales and Marketing, and then sales with an S. That needs to be merged and centered across the top. So highlight across the top from cell A1. Just click on merge and center, and that's job done. So now that's all I want to do for this little bit, but we now need to check that that has worked. So what you do is you click on February, and doing that will ungroup the sheets. As you notice, the tabs have gone back to their normal color. But when you click on each sheet, you can see that these are now exactly the same. So it's a very quick way of getting data laid out consistently across multiple sheets. Now we need to tweak the total sheet a little bit because I don't want it to be like this now. I've changed my mind. I want this to just record the totals for January, February and March. So let's just highlight these two columns and get rid of them. Right click, delete, and then rename this one Jan. So this is the total for January. Pull that across for February and March. Now what we need to do is use a formula to pull that information from January to this sheet. And all I need to do is type equals, go down to January, click on the total income for January, check the formula, click the tick. And then I can pull that down for expense, and then I'll just repeat the process for February, equals, go down to February, click on the total, check the formula, click the tick, pull it down, and then doing it again, equals, going down to March, click on the total, check the formula, click the tick, pull it down. So now I've linked everything up, so I should test it. Always test your spreadsheet. So if I type for week 1 on January, 10 and 5, do the same for February, just going to do week 1. You can do every cell if you want, it's up to you. And then March, 10, 5. So what I now should see on the total sheet is 3015, and you can see it's all working great there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little graph on here. I know we haven't done graphs yet, but we're doing that next. What I want to do is highlight this data, not the total, just this data there, and then up to the insert tab and a column chart, 2D column. That's the one I want. Just going to make that a little bit smaller, move it underneath my little table. Now to link this title, so if this title ever changed, I don't want to keep manually typing the title again. So what you do is you click on the title, don't click into it, just click on it, and then on the formula bar you go equals, and then you click that title, tick, and then that will always be linked to whatever you put in there. So if I put test in there, that's called test. If I just undo that. It comes back as sales and marketing. Now, if I click on the chart, I like to have this style. It's just a personal preference, and that's everything I want. So now this is the information I will be reporting on. This is my running total, if you like. So I don't want anybody clicking on any of these cells and deleting these formulas, because if they do that, this then is not working. So I need to password protect it. So this is what we're going to do next. I don't need to type anywhere on this sheet, so I can password the whole sheet. Over to the Format tab, down to Protect Sheet. It comes up with this box. I'm going to give it a password, which is just going to be my first name, Steve. Whatever you tick here would allow people to do, i.e. format cells, format columns, so they could widen columns if they get hashes, for example. It would allow them to do that without knowing the password. So I'm just going to tick that and then click OK. And then it asks me to double check the password. So type my name again, clicking OK. But now when I try and type everywhere, it's telling me that this locked. I can't actually do anything to that, which is great. And this little padlock appears there. That doesn't appear in every version of Excel, but I've got the most up-to-date one, so it is. Now, on January, February, and March, I need to password protect it, but do something slightly different, because I do want people to be able to type figures in this yellow area, but not affect or delete any of these formulas. So process is the same, except there's an extra step. The first step is you highlight where you want people to type. You go across to Format, and if you look down underneath Protect Sheet, you've got a little padlock which says Lock Cell. That is on at the moment, which means every cell is locked when and only when you do Protect Sheet. So it doesn't do anything by itself, but when you do Protect Sheet, which we just did on the total sheet, every cell is locked. If I click this off for those yellow cells, nothing happens just yet, but now the locks are off for the yellow cells. If I go back to Format and put Protect Sheet on, every other cell will be locked except the yellow cells. Now, I'm not going to bother with the password this time, but it will still lock it, but obviously people will just be able to undo if there's no password. So I'll just click OK. So I should be able to type in the yellow area, which I can, but I should not be able to type on that formula there, which I can't, which is great. And then I need to do the same thing on February, so I'll just do it 2 more times. You highlight the yellow area, or the area that you want people to type. You go to the Format tab and you click the lock cell off. You go back to Format, click Protect Sheet on, give it a password if you want, or just click OK in this example. Test it. So I should be able to type, yes I can, no I can't. That's great. And then do it again for March. Highlight the yellow area, Format, Protect, lock cells off, Format, Protect Sheet on. Click OK for the password, test it out. Can I type there? No, I can't. So that is now set up. You go back to your total sheet and all those figures are coming through because you have the formulas to pick them up, and your graph is reflecting that information. So on this particular example, we're minus 16 on the total overall, and it shows, the graph shows you there. So that's how you set that type of spreadsheet up and how you use password protection. Now I want to save this as a template, so I need to get rid of all this data. Now, a quick way to get rid of the data would be to click on the first sheet, hold my shift key down and click on the third sheet, in this case March, which will group those 3. Highlight all the data area, which is the yellow area, and just press delete. Now, if we've done this correctly, everything should disappear when I click on the total sheet, which it has. Now this is ready to save as a template. So if I just do Control S, it's coming up with a Save As box. So I'll just call this template, because I can't think of a better name. But you have to change this over to Excel template, and then it should jump into your custom office templates. Now, if you are on a network, this will be a network location, but if it's your own PC or laptop, it's going to be something like this, your username and custom templates. So it's called template, and then I'm just going to save that. And then I'm going to close my window, Control W, and just get myself a blank one. Now to use that template, you go File, New. Now when you first do that, it will be in the personal area, and there you can see template. So I'll open it, and there it is ready to go. Now if you look at the file name at the top, it says template with a 1 after it. So this is a copy of the original, and I'm just going to mess this up so you can see how this works. So working away with it, and then let's say I want another one. I would go File, New again. Now when I go File, New again, it's sitting there because I've just used it, but it comes out with a 2 after it, so template 2. Now I would just save this as a normal file now. I would go File, Save As, and it would save it. So exactly the same as when you've got a new file, it comes up with book and a number. When you've got a template, it comes up with a template name and a number, and you save as you would normally save a file wherever you want it to go. And to be honest, that's the way you should work with all Office programs. If you're doing a lot of work in Office, Word templates, Excel templates, PowerPoint templates, so you're not reinventing the wheel all the time. So that's how you link sheets, create a template, and do password protection. If I just close that one down and close that one down, I don't want to save that, close the blank one down, come back to this file where we started off and get rid of that. What I want to look at now is progressing this a bit and going on to linking workbooks. So that was linking all the sheets, but now you can link files together. Now in the older versions of Excel, the number of columns you had and the number of rows you had was restricted. For example, in 2003, you only had 256 columns, whereas now you've got over 16,000, so a massive difference. But what that caused was lots of companies created lots of files and had to link them together to get the management information that they might need. I don't think you need to do that so much nowadays because you've got lots of sheet tabs that you can bring things in to a particular sheet. However, if your company's got things all over the place, you will have to do stuff like this. So the criteria is the 2 files that you want to link must be open. So I've got another file open under here called charting, and I want to link to this total figure here, which is just casualties for the Battle of Waterloo. So I'll go back to the first file, and all I have to do is click in this yellow cell, type equals, go down to the Excel icon, click into the file that I want, click onto the cell that I want, and you can see the file name and path is flagging up there, and F6 with $signs on. Remember, $signs means it's locked. I just click the tick, and then it should suck that through to the other file. Click it a bit harder than that. And this is a live link, so if I go back into that Waterloo, just make a note of that, 97232. If I go back into Waterloo and add a load more casualties, so that's jumped up quite a lot, and you go back into this first file, you can see it's immediately picked that up. So just to go through that again, let's just say that we've got Bob, Bill and Anne. Let's say they're each in charge of a section or reporting on a section, so you would just go equals, you'd go down into the next file and you click on the total figure for that person, in this case the British casualties, tick, and then Bill equals, down into the other file, and the French casualties, tick, and then the last one, Anne, down into the other file, tick, the German casualties, and then you tick that one. So you've got these 3 people in charge of these figures, and as you can progress, you could put conditional format on that, which I'll do in a later video, and that would flag that up if there's any major changes that you didn't like. Now there is another way of doing that, and if you had a lot of data that you want to bring in, you could do this feature. I'm going down into the other file, I'm selecting this table because I want all of this table. This might be a summary table from other sheets that we just did, so this might be the summary. I'm copying that, I'm doing Control C, that's copy, You could also just copy from up there, but I've copied it. You can see the little marching ants, as I like to call them, sitting around there. Going down to the Excel file, clicking back into the other one, and if I paste that, that is just a dead copy. It's not actually going to update or anything. So I'm not going to paste. I'm going to click on paste up there on the left hand corner, and I'm going to select paste special. The one I want is this one, paste link, and you can see it's dropping the figures in there already, but just to show you where that's coming from, paste special and paste link is what I'm going to click, and then that will drop those in. That one you can just delete, and it's brought that information through. And again, these are all formulas, look, but they haven't got the dollar signs on them. And any change on the source file, so look at that total there, 427. So let's just get rid of them figures that I added before. So if I just put that back down to that sort of figure, so that's gone down quite a lot. And then just flick back over to this one, that's changed back down. Now I didn't copy the format, so this is a little cheat that you could have done. If you go to copy it initially, so if I copy that again, copy, go back into this other one, and then just paste, so that's a dead copy. So I've now got the format, and then on top of that, just go paste special on top of it, and you get the best of both worlds. So now I've got the format, and get rid of that, and I've got the links as well. Paste special, paste link. It's a Windows feature, paste special, paste link, so you can do it into Word. So I could copy this into Word. If I open a Word document, I'll just get a blank document for this. Just go back into there, copy this again. Now into Word, so same thing, paste special, paste link. I'm going to leave it as a, you've got these different objects, you can bring them in as a picture or a bitmap. I'm just going to leave it as the top one, but it's linked, and that should drop that in there. Okay, or it's not going to drop them in there. Just try that again. Paste special, Excel. There we go. So now we're in Word, and there's a copy of the table. So let's just go and delete something in Excel to show you that that will work. If I go back into Excel, I'll just delete that figure completely. So now that's changed. If I come back into Word, I'll just try that again, highlighting it, copy, go into Word, select paste special. The key to this is paste link. Click the object you want, so worksheet, Excel worksheet, OK, that drops it in. So now if I change the figure in the source file, so if I go back to Excel and delete that figure, that should pick that up in Word. That should be a live link into Word, and it is. You can see that that's gone. Now you can also do that with a graph. So if I come back into Excel, copy this graph, so I've clicked on the edge of the graph, Control C, copy, then into Word, over to paste, but paste special, paste link, and the top object is the one I'm going to pick. Okay, just need to resize this a little bit so it fits on my page. So now I've got this information in there. Now I'm just going to put some text in here to show you the other option. If I want to add a figure from Excel into a piece of narrative, I can do this. So let's go back to Excel, copy the total, so Control C, copy, back into Word, drop the arrow down, paste special, but this time it needs to be still paste link, don't forget that, unformatted text, and then OK, and then the figure comes in there. Now, so I've got 3 links in this particular file. You can see that. If I go back into the source file and delete a big chunk of this, so I've deleted a big chunk of that. When I come back into Word, it's picked all that up, and the figure at the bottom has picked that up. Now this Word file, I know we're in Word a little bit now, is going to have links. If I go to info, if I save this file, it's going to have links here. So let me just save this file. Let's call it test1. Save. Yeah, don't know what test1 was, but if I go back and have a look at info, it says there, look, edit links to files. So you can see that the links to the file charting and the cells are listed there. So if you needed to break these, or you ever see this box and you don't want it to be linked anymore, you'd have to break the links, because any changes to that source file will be reflected into this Word document. So as we just saved a template in Excel, you could save a template in Word, and when you open the template, it would ask you, do you want to update the links? And then you could say yes, and then it would suck in the next set of data and populate this. So back to Excel. So just undo all that, bring all the figures back and put something in there. Don't know what was in there before, but that'll do. So that is the end of this little session. So we've covered how to link sheets, how to protect sheets and protect areas of sheets. We then looked at how to link two workbooks together and how to use a formula, and also how to use paste special, and use paste special to paste special into a Word document as well. So that's the end of this one, and I'll see you on the next little bit. Thank you for your time.